Because you're magic people to me, you're magic people to me. Hold your head up high, let your voices fly, I'm proud to be Māori.
E te iwi, nei mai hoki mai, welcome back to Planting Seeds, this podcast where I like to just bring in people to share their stories, to share their whakaaro, to hopefully add value to each of you that is choosing to listen. So without further ado, our guest today is a good friend, is a brother, the brother Montel. Many may know him online for various reasons, but we have him here today to share his story, things around his journey through reo, also around fitness, and we'll just sort of see where the korero goes from there. But my brother, nau mai.
Tēnā koe. Gee.
And
we're here.
We're here, my bro. Just want to give it over to you, cuz no hea koe ko wai koe.
Ka pai, tuatahi ake. Me mihi ka tika kia koutou. E mātaki mai ana, kia koutou e whakaronga mai ana. Tēnā koutou o tirā kia koe e taku tuakana. Nau anō te karanga reo te rā. Nā, ko tai mai. Mo tēnei kaupapa hira. No reira, ai, tēnā koe, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou. Ko ai tēnei e kōrero nei, heuri tēnei no hine rupe rā wako tūwhaka iriora, no roto te araro, no roto Ngāti Porou whānui, ara ka peka atu ki te whiore, o te awa o Kaipara, i reira, taku marae a Arapāua, a Kirihipi, no reira, ia, no Ngāti Porou, Ngāti Whātua, kātai ka hoia taku waka ki te motu o Hāmoa, tātu ai ki Ululoa me Whongapoa. So, he hawhi kumara, he hawhi kokonati me ki. My mum's side, Ngāti Porou, Ngāti Whātua, my dad, full Samoan, Ululoa and Whongapoa. Yeah, that's me. Montel Tivoli tōku ingoa.
Beautiful, my brother. And honestly, bro, to hear you sort of introduce yourself in that way, it's very empowering, my bro. Yeah. It's very empowering to hear you korero, to represent yourself, your whānau, your whenua, your awa, your moana, you know. So it's very awesome to sit across from you in this new version of yourself, you know. So we've had a good interaction over the last few years, right? But for you to be in this space now where there's a lot more groundedness, there's a lot more purpose in what it is that you're doing. So very happy to have you here in Whakatāne. We've had a mean-ass day, my bro.
Mid-morning PBs.
Getting some PBs up in that gym and having you come through and just sharing your māramatanga around health and fitness, particularly around CrossFit, and you were here this morning helping me and a few of the bros just fine up some of the things that we've been doing. So how's the morning been for you, brother?
Yeah, bro, been a mean morning, awesome drive down, and can't go wrong with a bit of weightlifting and CrossFit to start the day, especially with the brothers. So it was an awesome morning, and just good to be around good wairu and good energy. Yeah. And hopefully that'll flow into this korero as well. And
it will, bro. Like, I'm charged up. I got a PB e te whānau. I got three PBs today. I've got a hang squat clean, which was at 100. I got a complex at 80, full snatch into a hang snatch into an overhead squat with a little wink at the end, and then finish with a PB snatch at 85. So the tips that you gave, bro, around mindset, and those who follow you online at Montel Tivoli, you're very explosive with your working out, your training, your mindset, and do you want to share a little bit of background around why this has been a foundation for you?
I guess, it's been a long journey. I started this journey when I was 11. So one of my best friends, Ozai Papali'i, plays for the Eels now. Shout out to the bro. Just got a mean award last night and probably the rookie of the year this year. So back in intermediate, he got me into weightlifting, which was through CrossFit. I didn't like the cardio side of things, but I loved the weightlifting, so I stuck with that for a couple of years. We were just training every day, and our coach decided to throw us in a random comp, bro. And so I think we were 13, 14, entering our first competition, our first weightlifting competition. After the competition, one of the judges come up and said, "Congratulations, you've made the New Zealand team." And which I was like, what? Like, we're just coming to do this for fun. So 2 months later, we're over in New Caledonia representing New Zealand. The bro picks up gold, Isaiah, and I pick up bronze in our weight classes. So from there, it started, you know, it was sort of like, whoa, you know, I'm just mucking around in the sport. And I'm already, you know, representing New Zealand on the world stage. So for the next 5 years, I pursued weightlifting. So I got 2 national titles, 2 Oceania medals, Pacific Games medal, and then my last one was silver at the Commonwealth Games in 2016 in Malaysia. So,
and what weight class was that in age bracket, bro?
Bro, so I started at 15. Back when I was 15, I started in the 80 kilo class. By the time I was 17, I was in the 105. So 25 kilos, bro. I put on weightlifting.
And what were you eating? I saw online it was like pasta, right? It was just a lot of pasta.
I had a massive tuna box, pasta, probably 3 tablespoons of mayonnaise, onion, and tuna. And then I'd have a big can of cream rice, a salami and cheese sandwich with mayonnaise, bro, and just crackers every single day, bro. Oh man, that was my philosophy. The more I eat, the stronger I'll get.
And it worked,
It worked, bro. It worked. And then, it came to a point where I was walking around school and going upstairs to my classrooms and, you know, started breathing heavy. So I knew something had to change. And, I sort of fell out of love with the sport of weightlifting. And, made the change back to CrossFit. Straight out of school, I started losing that weight again, dropping back down to the low 90s. And I ended up quitting my job, bro. So I was roofing. I was a louver roofer. And I remember just always working long hours and just didn't have the energy to train, you know. And my goal was to make the CrossFit Games. I want to get there, you know, I want to get fit. But I feel like I'm always taxed from all this labor work. So I ended up quitting my job. Left my job to pursue CrossFit, and I was fortunate enough that one of our coaches was training out at East Tamaki, and so at East Tamaki they had a team that made the CrossFit Games twice, and so to rub shoulders with these CrossFit Games athletes, you know, it was a blessing in disguise, bro. It was awesome, best experience ever, and I stayed on for about 4 months. 4 or 5 months, just solid training and rubbing shoulders with them and seeing what the life was about, you know, living this CrossFit life. And it literally is just eat, sleep, breathe CrossFit, bro. So wake up, train, you know. Afternoon, you're training, you're just dreaming about it, sleeping, you know, just always CrossFit. And I guess that was something that I wasn't used to, was the amount of work you had to put in. But weightlifting was different. CrossFit, there was so many more physical challenges,
so many modalities, right?
Yeah. So I guess that took a big toll on me, and I guess I just wasn't ready in that time.
Was it mentally?
Yeah, mentally, physically, you know, and with no job, it was tough. So I put that on hold and went back into the workforce. But that pretty much kicked off my journey. That gave me my base, really, was being around those CrossFit athletes, and then I've always had my weightlifting experience, so now it's just combining those two, and I guess reevaluating what my goals are, and you know, if I do want to do it, then I know what needs to be done. So.
And that's mean, bro, like even just being in those environments and shaping you, and your mindset has probably been a big factor in what you've been able to take from these two different places. Like obviously I've been in CrossFit for over a year now, and it's very hard to switch it off because you're always thinking about all the different movements,
there's always
technique,
something to work on.
100%. And if you're around people who do CrossFit, like that's all you talk about.
That's what I mean, bro. You just live, breathe it. It's like, oh man, everything is CrossFit.
Yeah,
CrossFit.
What did you get?
What's your strategy into this workout?
So it's all about like strategy and everything like that. And honestly, bro, even this morning, and I know we had when I first got into it, you came over to Whakatane and took us through some sessions as well. But what I learned from you today is just how strong the mind is. And do you want to talk a bit about that, bro, around mindset when it comes to training, or even if you want to expand that around just life in general?
I guess what really started that for me was weightlifting, and that was one of many factors, you know, one of many positives in weightlifting was teaching you to be mentally strong before you're physically strong. And I was just, blessed to be surrounded by my brothers. One of our recent brothers just gone to the Olympics, so we started that 5-6 years ago, and to be around them, it was always mindset, and it was always challenging. It was always challenging each other. So if I got a lift, I'd make sure I'd look him in the eyes and, what are you going to do? Show me something, It was always a battle. It was always trying to uplift each other, That's what we saw this morning as well. And I guess it all starts in the mind, if you're thinking bad in your head before you even touch that bar, that energy, that weight was going to flow onto the bar, Little things like that. And we talked this morning about, killing and ripping the lion's head off and just being real explosive, aggressive, bro. And that's the type of mindset you need when you're, attacking these weights and these physical workouts, that mindset is ultimately what makes you get that lift or, push through that workout. And it all started for me in weightlifting, because there were times where I'd show up and just mentally wasn't there, and I'm just lifting, and because I was, I guess naturally strong as well, I could get away with lifting numbers, and I wasn't really there. So for me, it wasn't about lifting my numbers, but more about reaching my potential. Because I knew I had the weight, but because I was naturally strong, I could get it. But I was like, okay, what if I push past this, And I know I have it in me, but I just need to bring it. And that all started in the mind. And I was so happy that I learned that at a young age, 13, 14 and I was surrounded by just beast, bro, that, was always kill, kill or be killed. That was the motto. So I've always taken that into my trainings. And it's especially when I have a goal, when I had these competitions I was preparing for, I knew there's going to be someone that's close to me, and 1 kilo, 2 kilos is the difference between first and gold, bro. So it was always like, okay, I'm going to be the killer. I want to be aggressive. I want to, and you can see in my videos, I'm screaming, and it was just like a little outburst, and me and my bros were screaming at each other, before we're lifting, and it seems weird and it seems crazy, and like, but some people look, but until you step into that space, bro, you'll never know. You'll never know what's really inside you. And like I said this morning, you can see it in someone's eyes before they touch that bar, and I know, okay, he's going to give everything. Oh, nah, there's a little side view. Oh, no, he's thinking about, is someone, is someone recording, or is someone standing in front of him, little things like that. I can catch it, like, okay, no, he's going to miss. He's got this. I can see I can see the beast in him. And that's,
it's fun,
I guess, bro. It's just, it's just the sport and just emotions, and it's not just physical strength, but your ability to hold your emotions and release those emotions when need to be, and I guess that's the beauty of weightlifting, and the beauty of CrossFit is you're able to release those endorphins, those
and
emotions.
It's just each and every time, getting to that potential.
That's it.
I also heard something around every time you sort of like break through, like that's when you actually get better, like you're building more character, and it's not necessarily about ego, even though you sort of get that burst of confidence. Like even for me, there was a few key points you gave to me today was around be aggressive, kill, and the last one was around visualization. Like visualize the lift going well, actually play it through in my mind, and like what does it feel like to actually stick that lift. And what happened in my last lift is it was a combination of all of those things, and I failed probably like 2 or 3 times, but every time I felt I was getting better, which was building my confidence. So that was just beautiful, bro, to be able to again go into that space, tap into that mindset, and again, bro, just excel in these sort of workouts.
I guess like people already naturally show that, like take you for example, you're already imagining all these things that happen for you, in terms of mahi and your tupu anuku truck and all that. Now it's just switching into a different sort of scenario, now you're visualizing lifting, and the same thing, okay, I want this, I want to get this is how I want to do it, you're already doing that. So it's more just mind shift into a different scenario. And like that's pretty much what I do with everyone else. If I can see that they've already done this, then I know another way. Then I know, okay, what are you going to do now? You've already got it in you. If you just put it into this lift or put it into your training, you're
going to get the results.
You're going to get it. We already have it. It's just, I guess, finding different ways to unleash it.
And when we sort of like use the same thread of hauora as well as your mental capacity, I should say. You are very great at executing results, right? You've been a victim of like weekly challenges, right? And you know how to sort of demand more of yourself. And you've had these fluctuations of doing incredibly well and then coming down. And you said to me something off camera, it's like you're either on or off.
When I'm on, I'm on.
Yeah.
When I'm
so
off,
do you want to
I'm
talk
off.
about your journey of what that is for you in reflection and where you have come to now? Yeah,
so I guess if you have been following me for the past few years, you'll see my body weight goes up, down, something ridiculous from like 120 kilos to like 81 kilos. And then the next year I'm back up to 115 and there's no sustainable results. And I guess that was from playing the short game, and not looking at the bigger picture. So for me, it was always about how do I get somewhere hard and fast? How do I get there quick? I want this now, and then how do I get quick results? And that's pretty much what I've done, so I do all these silly challenges where they're, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, whatever. And then after that, okay, I've reached my goal now, that's it, and then I'll fall back off. And so I guess that's where my mindset's trying to change now is how do I create sustainable results? How do I maintain, how do I keep riding this wave? And just like you said, bro, is being present and just creating little habits that'll help you, maintain your goals and always just staying driven, And that's one thing I want to say is like with training, you can refer it to life, we go through phases in life where it's life is good, life is great, and then, we go through unexpected turns where life doesn't get so good, we get into our low points. And I feel like it's the same with training, training, we have good times, we have bad times, and I guess it's just finding that balance, and finding a place of stillness where you can always fall back on, so it's not like I'm on my waka and then I flip and that's it, I'm sinking now. It's more like, okay, I'm on my waka, I'm going to learn how to flip it back on the water, just so I can stay on. And even if I'm not on the waka, okay, then, well, give me a life jacket, so I can still float, just little things like that. And that's where my mindset's at now is, okay, I know the times when I fall off, and it's usually when I get a certain body figure. Okay, I'm looking good now, I can celebrate, okay, I'll start, drinking, I'll start eating bad, and the mindset was, okay, I can just go back on the challenge, it's all good, but then 3-4 months later, I'm back to square one. So I guess now it's just, finding that middle point, finding a place where, okay, if I fall off, acknowledge it, and then try my best to get back on quick. I never force myself to do things because I feel like when it's forced, it becomes a chore. Yeah. So when I'm training, and I'm forcing myself to train and I'm not enjoying it, it becomes a chore, and I hate it, and I fall off even harder. So, what I want to do is just acknowledge, okay, I know I'm not in the best physique right now. I know I'm not in the best mindset to be training, but just keep moving, keep moving forward, keep going.
Building momentum,
just build that momentum for when I do start running again. Okay, now I'm off, and that's where I'm at now. Yeah, I've built that momentum. Okay, I'm off now. Now it's just about sustaining, and acknowledging that, okay, one day soon I might fall off, but let's make sure it's, I'm not falling into the
putting things in place to prevent that from happening or minimizing the impact of it if you do fall off.
If I do fall off, then it's an easier transition to get back on.
And expectation has been like a big part in that. In the past, you have big expectations of yourself. And like, what's your relationship with it now, bro?
Yeah, and I guess that was a big burden for me, was putting all these expectations on myself to reach a certain point, and then it was never being fulfilled once I reached that point. I was always wanting something better, bigger, better. And I was only left with disappointment. So I guess now it's more just, it's like I said, being present, staying in the moment, acknowledging it, and just keep moving forward. Not so much, okay, well, I didn't hit my target today, so, I'm going to go and eat a Big Mac. Okay. So I'm going to fall off for 3 weeks, it's now, okay, well, we can aim to be better. We can aim to be better and just keep moving forward. Acknowledge where you are and just keep moving forward.
Just day by day, moment to moment, bro. And that's sort of like how you get those wheels turning. And I remember, a few years ago, I've always sort of tried to offer that whakaaro of sustainability, like let's put things in place to have long-term results and longevity. And I feel you going through the experiences that you've had to now sort of get to a space where you're now registering the korero of it, it's sort of like you're better for it now.
And that's what I mean, like, we can't put a time limit on things, you know, to learn things and go through things. We got to go through it to understand it, even if that takes us 4 or 5 times, you know. If we're going to fall down 9, we're going to get up 10, you know. So for me personally, you know, I needed to go through what I've gone through so that I understand, and I think that should be everyone, because you can't purely go off listening to advice, you know. If you have to. Unless you walk in those waters, then you'll know.
You'll figure out how to swim in those waters,
bro?
That's
it, bro. You're going to be doing a manu off the cliff soon. So,
but I just done a post actually, and it was around pain. You know, like usually, you know, we think about our hardships, our struggles in life, and there's always usually something good that comes from it. It might not necessarily happen like directly straight away, but in hindsight, after time, you're able to reflect on those moments and you always become better for it. But if we aren't prepared to feel that pain or to feel that struggle, we ultimately close ourselves off from growing, you know. So I feel what you've done is like you've gone through it, you've had amazing results, you have fallen off, but now you're in a place where, cool, I know all these lessons now to sort of now hopefully make you better moving forward. Yeah,
that's pretty much it, you know, and learning off those. So there's been so many times, obviously, you know, the past few years where I'm not learning. I'm just keep stuck in that same cycle, stuck in that same rat race, you know, where I feel now I'm finally starting to see these things and feel the effects of the body as I'm growing older and you know, not just growing physically but mentally as well. So that's I guess and it's a never ending journey, you know, and that's the thing, we can't put a time limit on these journeys. It's something that we're going to go through in life, so just embrace it all and you know, when it's good, when it's bad, okay, we acknowledge that and we just keep moving forward.
I love that, bro. And I'm like so happy to sort of see you in this space and just to acknowledge your growth in that. And do you feel, you know, your journey through Te Reo Māori and the confidence that you've grown within yourself has given you a better approach or perspective on yourself and how you move forward now, bro?
Definitely, bro. I do believe I've always been a confident person, but I think, just having different things in my kete. So obviously with Te Reo Māori and Te Reo Māori, it has given me a whole breath of fresh air, I guess. And, you know, now I'm starting to see things in a different perspective, I guess. And I guess one thing I wasn't looking at before I dove into this Reo Māori in terms of my training and stuff was looking at the future and what my future looks like. I guess a tinana a wairua, you know, and I was thinking, if I keep going up and down, you know, what's that going to leave my mental space when I'm like 40, you know, if all I've known is up and down, no sustainability, you know. So I guess with the whole Te Reo Māori was finding balance and finding toe and finding myself, really, you know, and that's been the best thing about this whole Māori journey, you know, and it's contributed into different parts of my life that I thought, you know, I didn't think a Māori thing was lifting weights, you know, and that's a whakaaro Pākehā there, but there's, you know, like Tau and then Matai and all, they're saying there's lessons in these journeys, you know, and lessons in these stories, and I guess I'm just creating my own story, really.
Wow. And talk about your journey entering into, you know, you done full immersion last year. And do you want to talk about how that unfolded for you, bro? Like how that decision came to be, and bro.
So I pretty much grew up in Australia, bro. Born in New Zealand, moved over when I was 1, and I come back when I was 10. So I spent 9 years over in Oz, and then I started my primary year 7, year 8 years here in New Zealand, and then moved on to Rutherford College as well. So when I moved back, I was put straight into the island sort of class. I was put into the Pacific part of the kura. So year 7 and 8, I know I was pretty much, I had that reo ha more, so I could, you know, do the karakia and have simple conversations all in Samoan, and so I was pretty much Samoan, bro. And it wasn't until 2014, bro, one of our good friends, Luke Tipene, he passed away, and bro, I remember at school every day he'd tell me, bro, come and do kapaka, come and do kapaka. And I used to always laugh like, bro, I'll never do korero. Well, I'm not Māori. Like, I knew I was Māori, but I was so, you know, just headstrong of being Samoan and, you know, Māori. I don't want to be Māori. It wasn't the cool thing then, you know. And so once he passed, bro, I said, oh, bro, I'll go and give kapahaka a go. You know, I've never done anything Māori in my life, but for the bro, you know, I'll go see what this whole buzz was about, because he was the proudest, staunchest Māori there was. And so that next year, bro, I was year 12, first time entering into a Māori world, and that was just through kapahaka. And I remember entering the marae, and like, it's like I came back home, bro. Like, it was like I always belonged there, you know. It wasn't a sacred place. It just felt so like my wairua was full again, you know. It was like, oh, he's come home, you know. He's finally, you know, seen another side of him. And so that pretty much kicked it off. You know, I'd done kapahaka year 12, year 13. And then I started my journey learning Te Reo at Te Wānanga Aotearoa. And I guess one of the hardest things about learning at those night classes was they're 3 hours a week, one night a week for 3 hours. So for me personally, this is my experience. I was Māori for 3 hours a week because the rest of my world was Pākehā. So when I entered those doors, I was Māori. When I left those doors, it was straight back to my old Pākehā, you know. And so I was learning, but
it wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough, bro. And like, I was losing more than I was learning, you know. And that's like, if you think about it, how many hours in a week, you know, and you're only having 3 hours, and in those 3 hours, you know, you're still speaking English because you don't have Te Reo yet. And so I'd done that for a couple of years, bro, and I ended up hating it. And I was figuring,
ended up being a chore.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was like, why do I hate this? And you know, it's only recently where I've sort of come to a place where I feel like the reason I was hating it was because I knew I was coming back to my old Pākehā. So it made it worse for me to go to those 3 hours and then realising, oh, it's just going to be over and I'm going to be back in my Pākehā ways, you know. And I honestly feel like that's why I started to hate it, you know. And I was like,
felt like a waste of time.
Felt like a waste of time, you know. And I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And so, I ended up not doing it for another year and just left it to the side, and had this whole mindset that being Māori was wearing gumboots, speaking like a hori, you know, acknowledging that you're a hori, being paru, you know, swearing and drinking, and, you know, that ultimately became my mindset of what Te Ao Māori was, you know. And I was like, nah, I'm Māori as, bro. I wear all the hunting gears and talk like this, and, you know. And it was like, it wasn't until, my partner, met her in 2019, bro, and that was the...
You manifested her, bro.
I manifested her, bro, you know, and that was the ultimate, bro, my whole world just changed. So, you know, and she was the first one that told me, she's like, you know, there's more to being Māori than dressing and speaking like that and drinking and stuff, you know. And like, it's a beautiful world. It's a world I can't explain to you. You need to, you know, get it. You need to grasp it. And, I guess that was a massive turning point for me, and was another one was also being around my friends that could speak Māori, and I remember feeling so uncomfortable being around them, you know, like when they speak Māori, like, what are they saying? Are they talking about me, you know? And they could just be speaking about what's for dinner, you know, but I'm like, nah, they're saying that I shouldn't be here, or, you know, just those internal thoughts where I'm like, fuck. And that brings me on to another main point, bro, is you know, the Moirangi, my cousin, sister Moirangi, she brought up an awesome point this week, bro, on her Instagram, saying the amount of people that call her privileged and call kids that grew up in Māori, call them privileged and so lucky. And I'm guilty of that, bro, because I used to tell all my friends that grew up in Te Ao Māori, oh, you guys are so lucky you've got that. You guys are so privileged that you've got to grow up in Te Ao Māori. You know, and that's coming from personally, that was coming from a place of jealousy, of envy, of wanting that, you know, never getting that, and then making excuses on it. Oh, I got to go learn, you know, I got to go learn it, and it's hard, and da-da-da-da. And then, you know, coming from their perspective where they're like, bro, it wasn't cool back then. You don't know the traumas that we went through growing up as Māori kids. You know, it wasn't a trend back then. It wasn't, you know, this thing you can just jump on. You know, there was no Te Wiki o Te Reo Māori. None of that stuff, you know. And then they were saying, like, it was normal. You know, I whānau mai au I tēnei ao Māori, you know, I was born into this ao Māori. It wasn't a choice. It was my normal. So don't put your hurt, your mamai on me, because you know we are the people that have that are, you know, holding on to our reo so it doesn't obviously die. And then on top of that, you know, now we're trying to help you guys while trying to keep improving ourselves. So, you know, they're carrying all that taumaha, bro, and here we are saying, you guys are lucky he's grew up in Te Reo Māori. And I've only just come to realise that now, bro, like that was coming from a place of envy, coming from a place of
jealousy.
Hate. Yeah, jealousy. And I'm like, wow. You know, and we were the pieces of what our parents had to go through, you know, and we're the broken pieces. And then on top of that, that leads me to now where, you know, we have the opportunities, we have all these resources to get the reo now.
It's just time now,
and it's just time and how much you want to, bro. Like, I need te hua, you know, I need te tauira. I'm an example, bro. So for me, it was more like, I'm dropping everything for this. You know, I had my dream job in 2019. 20 years old, bro. 21 years old, 2019, had my dream job, bro, working with youth, and life just took a massive turn. You know, everything started being awesome. I, you know, met the girl of my dreams, had my dream job, and I was just in a space of like
feeling amazing,
bro. Like I was living the dream, and then like I still felt empty. There was still something, you know, the pie wasn't full. There was still a, you know, little quarter missing or half that was missing, bro. And I realized it was Te Reo Māori, you know, and so I just made the decision then. I remember the day I was at work, and I was so upset that I couldn't speak Māori because one of the ladies asked if I could translate one of the work documents, and it was like only a one sentence, and I was like, bro, I've done these 3 years at Te Wānanga Aotearoa and I can't even translate this, bro, you know. And it was just, I just felt all that taumaha, and I was like, nah, that's it. I've made my decision. I'm going to go after the reo. And so, I remember searching up Te Wānanga Takiura, and I rung them immediately. I rung them straight away, and I said, kia ora, I'm just ringing in regards to the Reumaki Reo course, the total immersion reo course next year. And I remember her saying, you're lucky, because if you would have called tomorrow, there would be no more spaces. It was the last intake, bro. So I was one of the last intakes, and I was like, gee.
Tohu, bro.
If that's not a sign, bro, you sure, bro. And so I remember I told my boss that exact day. I hung up the phone, you know. He booked my interview and all that. I hung up the phone and I went straight to my boss and I said, we need to talk. He goes, yeah. And I said, I'm going to go and chase one of my dreams. And he goes, what's that? And I was like, learning Te Reo Māori. And he sort of looked at me like, okay. So what does that mean? So I'm going to leave mahi, it's a full-time course, Monday to Friday, 9 to 3, And I was like, if I can have this reo, if I can grab this reo just in terms of mahi, I can come back and work with the kura kids, how cool would that be? And, it was all just a vision then, And so he agreed. He was happy for me, bro. He goes, sweet, bro, that's awesome. Do what you got to do. And so I registered, I went to the interview, got in, it was all good. And it wasn't until towards the end of the year, bro, my partner fell pregnant. Yeah, so I was like, it was a big, I was weighing up, bro. I was weighing up my options, like, okay. And even my old lady wasn't, real down for it. Yeah, it was all just sitting on the fence weighing up our options. Okay, so I was in debt, bro, so I had thousands of dollars of debt. I got out a loan, got a truck and all these things, so we're weighing up those things. Okay, how am I going to pay this back? You're going to have no job next year. You got a baby on the way. There was all these roadblocks, all these little bumps where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to put it on hold, and it wasn't until my missus, she just said, nah. You're gonna do it, and it's not for you. It's for our baby as well, And so that was it. My mind, nothing could change what I was gonna do. I was gonna, I'm going to Te Wānanga Takiura, And I've always been a person like that as well, where if I put my mind to something, I'm gonna give it all I got. I'm going all in. It's not, okay, I might just try it out, see how things go. It was nah.
And because you had so much sort of like on the line, when you sort of started going through Reumaki, did you just feel just so immersed, bro? Did you start excelling?
Bro,
did you put yourself into it? It was
one of the most difficult years, bro, just emotionally, and trying to, I guess, get back what was beaten out of us, and I could feel all the hara, the effects of the trauma of our tupuna and all that, and that was one thing that shocked me, well, what was new to me was diving into Te Reo Māori. There was wairua shifts as well. So
it's not just the language, right?
And then koe rā tāku, bro, ko Te Reo Māori, e harai te kupu noa, ne? He wairua, he tikanga, he Māori ka whai te kupu. So there's wairua and there's tikanga that follows every word you flow, bro. And so diving into Te Reo Māori, I think it awoke my spiritual side, I guess, you know, and was about reclaiming that. And so I was having all these visits, I guess, you know, and unpleasant ones and you know, pleasant ones, and you know, just Te Ao Wairua was sort of weighing heavy on me, and it was the first time I've acknowledged that, and I've seen it, you know, and I've felt that, and it was a scary, bro. It was a scary, confusing time because I didn't know what the hell was wrong with me, you know. Why am I getting all these, you know, like
these feelings,
dreams,
all these different emotions,
I could feel Wairua was around me, and you know, and having dreams about my baby, and you know, just things that I've never encountered before. So it was a crazy time, bro. And I remember it was Tawaro that told me, bro. Tawaro, he picked me up one morning. We're coming back from Rotorua back to Auckland, and I said, I had this weird dream, bro, that someone was coming to take my baby. And he was going, hey, and then because that night, bro, I was staring into my missus' eyes as she was, not into her eyes, just staring at her as she was sleeping. And then I kept coming in and out of this dream, and I was like, I'm coming to take baby, I'm going to take baby. And it was just crazy, bro. And I remember the third time I fell back into that dream, and Atea started screaming, bro. Started screaming, like, in real life. And I was like, whoa. And I tried to wake her up, bro, and she was just staring straight through me for like 2 minutes. And then sort of come back to refocus, and she goes, someone come to take baby. And I go, bro, I was just falling into that same dream. Like, what the hell? And then, so we didn't really sleep for the rest of the night. And Tawaro picked me up that morning to come back to Auckland, bro. And I was driving, and we got about an hour in, and the bro fell asleep. And he woke up, and he goes, bro, I just had a dream about you. I go, hey, what do you mean? He goes, oh, something about you crying over your baby being taken or something. Bro, and I was like, what?
Was this the next day?
That morning, bro.
That morning after?
Yeah, so we had those, like, the dreams and all that about 2 a.m. and he picked me up at like 6, so it was like, you know, within hours. And then this thing, bro, so someone messaged me that morning as well, and I didn't open it because, well, you know, I was just trying to process what the hell was going on. And I opened it 2 weeks later, bro. The message was, hey, bro, hope you're all good. Thought I'd message. Just wanted to let you know I had a dream about you staring at your missus and she was crying or something. I go, what? No way. I was like, bro, this has been happening. And that was my first sort of taste of, you know, Te Ao Māori. And I go to Tawara, I was like, bro, I'm scared. What is it? And he goes, bro, don't be scared. Your wairua has come back to Te Ao Māori. And I go, oh,
I got the goosebumps, bro.
And I was just like, oh. He goes, nah, don't be scared, bro. You're just, you know, your wairua has come back, and you know, this is what's going to happen. You're going to experience things. You're going to go through changes, you know, not just physically, mentally, emotionally, you know, and you're going to feel the wairua of, you know, o tūpuna, you know, me te ao Māori katoa. So I was like, wow. And that was, it was a beautiful thing, bro, you know.
How far into the kaupapa was this, bro? Were you in there for a couple of months?
Yeah, I was maybe halfway through the year, bro. Maybe not even that. Baby wasn't born then, so maybe about March. April, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, and I only started that Rūmaki Reo in February, bro.
Wow.
So like straight away, you know, there was just a massive shift, bro, and it was, you know, it was crazy. It was crazy.
And what's that? If you can sort of share, what's that class environment like? Like, what's the ahu of it? Because, you know, beautiful. Like, are you able to sort of explain for those who may be keen on exploring full immersion? Like, can you give more context of it, bro?
I won't lie, it's probably the most anxiety I've ever felt was that whole year, you know? And I don't know why, but it was so uncomfortable, and you just had to get comfortable in being uncomfortable, bro, you know? I'm like, if I can lift in front of 1,000 people, you know, but I can't even stand to do a korero in front of 20 people, you know, and it's a different type of taniwha. It's a different type of taniwha. And I guess, it's so uncomfortable, but there's so much beauty in it. And so, you know, it's just going to make you grow. It's going to make you grow so much. And, you know, it took me a while to, you know, for the first 4 months, I was like, I'm not even learning anything. No, it's so hard to grasp. I'm just sitting cluelessly in class, like, what the hell's going on, And other people, and that was another thing, was I was comparing my journey to others. So some people were like started speaking fast, other people were a bit slower than me. Some people were like fluent already, like, what are you doing in our class? And so, it was just being able to redirect and stay in my lane, stay in my own journey, and take hold of my own journey, and that was just being immersed in Te Reo Māori. And so, it was a real uncomfortable time, but, there's so many positives that outweigh all the negatives. I've met some of the best friends in my life, that I'll I know I'll be close to for the rest of my life, and I'm just so grateful for their place and, the amount of people, because there's levels as well. So there's Rūmaki Reo, and then there's the Taumata Tōtai Tuarua Tuatoru, which is they're doing their degrees in teaching. Right. And so, tuakana teina vibes as well. So they're just helping, and when you
so
don't get
this
things,
all in the one classroom?
So there was three classrooms just for Rūmaki Reo, and then we had all the different degrees as well. So it's just a big campus, bro.
Yeah.
They've moved now, which is even bigger. So,
wow.
Yeah, and it's beautiful, bro. Just tuakana teina was my first sort of outlook at what being Māori was about, what it was to have people support you from, being lower than you, higher than you. It was just, everything was one, bro. It was mean.
And was there sort of like a breakthrough moment for you, bro, where, where your reo just sort of like, brrr, like bro, it just started to come, bro? That's
what I want to talk about. So, for the first 4 months, I was just like, bro, some nights I was crying. I was going home crying because I just didn't understand what the hell was going on, and why am I so far behind everyone? And then it wasn't until we had a guest speaker. I think they were the CEOs of Kohanga. Yeah, and they came and done a whai kōrero. There was about 4 of them, bro, and I remember sitting in there and starting to understand what they were saying, because before when people talk and people laugh, it's start laughing, bro. But this time I was like, I knew what he said. Oh my god, that's crack up, and it was a more like more connection, and I just felt more grounded, and I felt just like so powerful that that things were starting to click, bro. And it was weird because that week I was having a shit week as well, so I wasn't still not learning as quick as I wanted to, not speaking as good as I wanted to. And then that one time, bro, just boom, just clicked, bro, and I was just like, wow. Rang my miss, hey, guess what? I understood what the fella was saying today, Happy as, celebrating all my little successes, and it was just it was mean.
And did that give you the confidence to start speaking more, bro? Like once you understood, where you're like, I can put these words that I've been learning over the last 4 months together to have these.
That was another massive barrier for me, was being afraid of making mistakes. So I was so scared of being wrong and of being ashamed, and no one put that on me. I put that on myself, and I still don't even know why I done that, and that's a massive thing. And ka hoki ki te whakatauki o te aurere, me tū hapa i te wā o te ora, ka tū tika i te wā o te mate. So, stand incorrectly in front of the presence of your elders, so that when they pass on, you can stand correctly. And that's pretty much what I've been soaking in, and I applied towards the end of the year, was just speak my reo. Wrong as, no mai e ngā hapa, welcome all the mistakes. So wrong as, but just speaking, and I was told on my bros, that speak reo, don't speak English to me, just speak Māori. And I'd reply all in my hapas, I'd reply all in Māori, and wrong as, everything everywhere, and I'm still like that to today. It's, it's just a constant journey of growing and learning. And that's what I loved, and that's what I still love. So that was the breakthrough moment for you, was just having that, but you're so interested or so drawn in that you weren't afraid to make the mistakes, because it's going to make you better. And I wanted to make my world a Māori world, and so by doing that, I reached out to friends that could speak Māori, to help me just speak Māori to me. All right, when I go home, I'm going to try and teach my nan and my mum some Māori words, and try and implement it in the house. See if they understand this, just try and make my world a more Māori world, so that when I left the doors, ka kore hoki ki te ao Pākehā, he ao Māori tonu. And so that's probably one of my biggest advices as well, is just make your world a Māori world. And, I was lucky, my missus and then my partner, she had Te Reo Māori, her whānau, te whānau katoa, ka tai te kōrero Māori, they all had Māori, so, you know, when I was around them, oh, how do I say this, how do I say that, you know, oh,
me pēnei.
Me kōrero Māori tātou, you know, and to them I was like, what the, you know, why does he want to be, you know, trying to speak Māori, it's just normal, you know, and so it was a blessing in disguise, really. I was so grateful that I was around that environment, you know, and that my world was slowly becoming a Māori world, you know, and that's the beauty, bro. That was the changing point, really.
That's so inspirational, bro. Like, it's so inspirational, and even to the extent of, you know, your kōrero to me, and, you know, send me, and that sort of gives me the invitation to kōrero back, you know, and like, even for someone like me who's on the verge of who has the reo but doesn't have the confidence to be okay to make the mistakes, but when you sort of like provide that opening, it makes me feel a bit more comfortable.
Bro, I made a mistake in the mihi at the start, bro. You know? Always making mistakes, you know. And I think one massive thing for me with Te Reo Māori was, for me, it wasn't about finding out who I was and where I was from, you know. That wasn't my drive, because I felt like I've always known who I was and where I'm from. You know, I've always felt grounded to that. For me, Te Reo Māori was te hononga ki te tangata. So being able to connect on a deeper level, being able to connect spiritually, you know, and that's something I always craved with my bros and my family, and that, you know, that could speak Māori, was that deeper level of conversation. And you know, there's a saying that in te ao Māori, there's things that te ao Pākehā can't offer, just can't offer, you know, things like kapahaka and karakia and whai kōrero, things like that, you know, where it's a deeper level of interaction. And that's what I was obviously, you know, going for. That's what was ultimately what I wanted, was to be able to connect better with my own people, you know, and obviously, you know, to ka tipu Māori mai taku tamahine, so she'll grow up in te ao Māori as well, and if, you know, if both parents have it, then it's just going to be a better, you know, thing.
That's honestly incredible. Just like 12 months, or not, it's less than 12 months, but the sacrifice of giving up, you know, like there was a life that you really loved, to put yourself into that environment, into that space, and to immerse yourself has like given you so much more. And do you want to talk about, you know, like there was that point where you just thought life was mean, but as we've communicated today, like it's even in a better place. You're working at a kuta kaupapa. Like, how did all that unfold, bro?
Yeah, and it was you know, taku whakapono nei, bro. It wasn't easy. It was definitely not easy, you know. Think about this, you know, I'm in $1,000 of debt, baby on the way, no job, on student allowance, $60 a week. And I'm trying to learn Māori on top of all my other stresses, you know, that's going on in the world. So there was so many sacrifices that I had to be alright with, so that I could continue this journey, you know. And I guess that's when it goes back to the drive, you know, what's going to keep me going. And that was, you know, my daughter, and then being able to converse and just being Māori, you know. And that obviously outweighed everything else, you know. And there was so many so many people judging us, and, you know, wasn't on board and telling us, bro, you know, you need to be working because you got a baby on the way, bro, and you know, looking at the short game. And I was always looking at the long term, you know, and I think that's where the game changer was okay, you know, they're just looking at now, you know, okay, I'm going to have 4 months without a job, okay, you know, what's money, you know, to aroha and, you know, mana and having that reo, you know, what's money can't buy all of this. And so that was the first time I seen, okay, that's the difference between whakaaro Māori and whakaaro Pākehā. I was like, okay, they're money chasing, you know, you need this, you need that for your baby. And I was like, what does the baby really need? She got waiu, she got her breast milk, and we got hundreds of clothes from everyone that's gifted, you know, what more does she need besides love, you know? And so it was like, just blocking all that out and just staying in my lane and staying driven to finish what I started.
Wow.
And it just definitely wasn't an easy journey, but, you know, look at us now. I've moved into a space where I'm now in Rotorua. I'm now counselling, youth mentoring, doing the same job that I thought was a dream job, but now I'm in a kuta kaupapa, you know. I'm now passing this on to our next generation of Māori, you know. So, and I guess that's awesome, man. It's just it's crazy, you know, just how life has changed, bro. You know, and if you want to talk money figures, you know, this is the most money I've ever been paid, bro, in my whole life. So things just went straight up, bro. Just my whole world changed, bro. And it was something I visualized, you know. And now it's playing out, you know. And now I'm sitting in this space of gratitude, like I done that, you know. When everyone doubted me, I done that, you know. When everyone doubted me and my whānau, you know, our choices, and people still doubt us, you know. I'm like, anei te hua, bro. Look, you know, this is us. We've cracked it. And I always tell my partner, you know, be proud of us, because look at us now, you know. I got my partner, she's a teacher at the kura. My daughter comes and I'm at the kura as well, you know. I got my 2 girls with me every day, all day, you know. Where do you find that in life, you know? It's just beautiful, bro. It's you
the
know?
cheat code, bro.
Yeah, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I'm bloody proud of myself.
Bro, and I'm proud of you too, bro. And I'm proud of like what you and Atia have been able to create in terms of your guys' lives and holding true to one another and creating this foundation for your guys' tamahine. And I think that's just beautiful, bro. And I know the korero isn't coming from that place of like being bigger. This is just you understanding how much you have sacrificed and how much you guys have gone through to be in this position of embracing the things that have unfolded, which I think is an incredible way to sort of view things. And, you know, think about talking about your whānau, brother. You know, I know this was something you wanted to korero about because, you know, you guys went through things as a whānau that, you know, people who are new parents, which is perfect for me, you know, we're coming into the space of having our first pepe. And so, you know, what are some of the things that come up for you, bro, being a new parent in your guys' journeys?
Yeah, where do I even start? You know, I guess it's my biggest achievement, my biggest blessing is being a father, being a proud father. And I guess that's what I wanted to show to my daughter before she even entered the world, you know. I'm making these sacrifices, short-term sacrifices for our long-term game, you know, and then hopefully one day she can look back and say, you know, oh, my papa done this for me before I even entered the world, you know. And that's I guess what it's all about for me, is whānau. And yeah, it's not an easy road, and just elaborating on that, you know, it was a real challenging time for me, you know, with baby being born, me just transitioning into this Māori world, and then trying to, I guess, live up to responsibilities that were put on me by other people, you know, not even my own responsibilities that I made up. You know, these were responsibilities from other people, you know. Oh, you need a job, you need to pay for this, you need this, you need that, you need that, blah, 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 blah. And so for me, the whole first few months of trying to figure out how to be a father, how to, you know, still be a partner as well, was bloody tough, man. It was tough, bro, you know. And one of the main things that I noticed was, personally from my own experience, was I had to find comfort in not having any attention on me. And so coming from, you know, just me and my partner, and always having attention to the attention, or just, you know, on baby, and not just our attention, the attention of our whānau, of our friends, you know, as well, was always just on baby. And I posted this on my story, bro. I think it was like the first week baby was born, I remember crying the night before she was born, bro, feeling so lonely, just because my whānau up in Auckland, and, you know, she had all her whānau there, and I remember just feeling lonely and feeling like I had no one. And that was purely because all the attention was, you know, obviously on baby and her mother, and, you know, which is, it should be like that. But the thing for me was, even after baby was born, you know, I got hundreds of messages. Oh, how's baby? How's mum? Hope mum are well. You know, and I was like, damn, you know, there was only one person that asked, how am I? You know, how are you as the father, you know, going through all this experience, you know? And that was my uncle. And yeah, I remember being so hurt, like, you know, I'm not trying to take away the attention from baby and mums, but, you know, from my point of view was, you know, I haven't even got my own stuff sorted, and now I've got a whānau that I'm going to try and, you know, cater to. So how do I take care of a whānau when I can't even take care of myself, you know? And then now I've got everyone messaging me about, you know, about my partner and baby, and, you know, where's the love for me, you know? And I guess that's where I can see where things go wrong, where things sort of break out with new couples and new parents. And, you know, we look at the statistics, where the leading population for suicides, and, you know, and I can see where they're coming from, because there's that point where I did feel alone, and I did feel like, whoa, what's the point? Like, fuck, okay, so am I just a sperm donor? You know what I mean? It's like there was no one was checking in on me, like, besides my uncle, you know, and all this love for everyone but me, you know. And I remember putting it on my story, and bro, there was so many tāne that replied like, bro, I feel you so much on this, you know, this has been me, you know, me and my partner aren't together anymore, and I feel like this has been a massive reason, you know, was us learning how to be alright with not being the center of attention. I guess that's a massive thing for us as men, you know, coming from having that attention, having that intimacy, and then it all just being taken away, you know, not taken away forever, but you know, those first few months where everyone's trying to figure out how to be, you know. And I guess all I really wanted was just someone to check up on me, you know, and I felt that taumahatanga. But again, I was just reminding myself, you know, long game. But I definitely think it's a good point, and it's a good thing to be aware of for new fathers and new couples, you know, is make sure we're there for our fathers as well, you know, and check up on the brothers, and you know, because it's always how's baby, how's mum, you know, and it's not a bad thing, but it does go a long way showing love for us as men, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, and I guess on top of all that as well, you know, you have your own little complications in your relationship with this trying to figure out how to be a parent, you know, and the lateness, you know, the not sleeping at night and screaming baby, and all of that comes into play on top of everything else that's everything piled, you know. And there I can see, okay, this is where Tane, you know, okay, so this is where
too much, gets too overwhelming,
and, you know, he can't control his emotions. Okay, so he's gonna, you know, oh, does he hit her? You know, all these things that have played out, you know, and that are normal in life. I can see now. Okay, so that's where they went wrong. They can't control their emotions. Okay, that's okay because no one was reaching out for him. Okay, you know, things like that, and that's a massive thing, bro. Because you're gonna go through those nights where you're both just, you know, you've had it, and I guess us as men, we got to remember, bro. Until you experience your wahine pushing out a baby, the respect and the amount of mana you give to women is, bro,
goes to another taumata.
Hei ngā rangi tū haha, bro. And that was the thing that I could bring myself to was, nah, bro, she's still healing from that traumatic experience she's just had. Tone it down, bring it back, you know, control yourself. If you need to get away for, you know, however long, go, you know, but don't take it out on her. And that was one thing I did learn, you know, and was where I could see where things would go wrong. So I guess, for our tāne that are stepping into the space of becoming new fathers, just be wary of your emotions, be wary of your surroundings and what you're allowed to build up on you before baby comes, because when he or she comes, it's just a whole new world, you know, and it's something you got to walk through to understand. You got to go through to learn these things, because anyone can tell you anything you want, but every circumstance is going to change. Every circumstance is going to be different. So just keep that in mind, and you know, keep doing what you're doing, because at the end of the day, you are the voice of your baby, and you are the parents. So
that's where it's at, eh?
You just gotta,
bro. Like honestly, as you're talking, bro, like I've been having like flashes, like in my mind, or you know, obviously because it's so close to home. You know, like me, like we could have baby at any time now. And I've been having thoughts around, you know, do I need to have these intentional conversations? Like, do I let the bros know, like, bro, can you check on me? Even furthermore is like, I haven't checked up on my mates as well. Because it was, oh, bro, how's baby doing? You don't necessarily sort of be like, oh, bro, how are you?
Yeah, that's what I wanted to try and get across was, you know, we all need that love. We all need that affection, bro. And, you know, we just need to give it to everyone. And then, it was like, and that was another thing, bro. It's a new world for baby, but it's also a new world for parents as well, you know. So just got to look at all spectrums of the ball, I guess.
And I think that's so awesome of you, bro, to be able to find your voice and to be able to put it out there. And I suppose you doing that story and seeing just how common it is has given you more of a reason to start sharing on this, right?
And I guess that's why I wanted to share that, you know, because it was not just my voice, but a voice of hundreds, you know. And being a young father, you know, I'm only 22, so being a young father, I'm so happy I got to see all this now, because I can see, you know, if our past generations of them holding up that, you know, stigma of being tough and strong, and when things get hard, I'll just, you know, I'll stuff yous, you know, and this is the place of being vulnerable, you know, and allowing to see these things that they are normal, and you know, it's different for everyone, bro. Some people have awesome loving experience, and we had the same as well. But just, you know, I can see just where people go wrong, or where people can fall off,
where
and,
they can struggle.
Yeah, where they struggle, and you know, then we get kids growing up fatherless, motherless, you know, and I can see it now. It all makes sense. So now it's trying to find, you know, solutions and put it out there that it's normal.
Yeah,
acknowledge it and control it. You know, you're in control of that.
Yeah,
it's not like you're not in control. You can control your emotion. You know, you can do something about that. Yeah, so
bro, that's beautiful, bro. And I think it's just, you know, again, you know, as I think about that next stage of our lives, and, you know, I'm sure there are tāne out there who go through, you know, having new babies and they feel they feel okay.
Yeah, I've got cousins that have the best experience. I got none of that. So
so it's just, and like how you're saying there, it's different depending on the circumstances, everything that's going on. But I think a big, beautiful korero that is just coming out is just ensure that when you are checking up on new whānau, just have a little korero to the papa as well, like, oh, just how are you doing? You know, which I think is just a very important, and I feel it's also new, bro. Like, this is new to me, to sort of like hear this korero. So I just want to sort of like commend you and give you a big mihi, bro, for bringing this korero to the pepu.
Hard. And I guess that's because I wasn't expecting the response I got, you know. I was just thinking,
was that just being selfish?
I was just, you know, and I was, all those emotions I was feeling, I just put it out there, you know. It's, it is what it is, you know, and I was crying. And then the response I got from all the fathers that, you know, experienced the same thing, I was like, oh, wow, you know, it is normal. You know, I thought this, you know, and because I was only a new partner, I didn't even bloody know how to look after myself, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all just a big learning ball, bro, and just roll with the punches and keep moving forward and just, you know, sit in it all. Yeah.
You are an extraordinary person, bro, and, you know, we've been having some beautiful korero. We've gone down many different pathways, and it's just been a pleasure to listen, to go on this sort of like journey with you, sharing your whakaaro, sharing your personal story of health and fitness, mindset, Te Reo Māori, and also just becoming a new father. So I want to give it over to you, brother, to mehe mea he kupu whakamutunga that you might want to share for those who are currently still listening. Kei a koe te wā, brother.
Yeah, well, mena ko koe tēnā e mate kai ana ki tō tātou nei reo. Ko koe tēnā e mataku ana ki te whai i tērā huarahi. Whāia ngā mahi a rarohenga. Whāia ngā mahi o tātou tūpuna. Kia kaha rā. Yeah, be strong in your journey. You know, this is your journey, no one else's. So give it your all and just be present in the moment and absorb everything you can, because it's a beautiful thing. Life is a beautiful thing. So yeah, Te Reo Māori is also a beautiful thing. So yeah, hopefully it encourages everyone to jump on board, you know, and learn our reo, because if you really want it, we'll get it. You know, there's no if, buts or whats, you know. Anei te hua, anei te tauira, I am an example. I am the seed of going against odds to finally have that reo, you know, and I'm still learning, and I'll forever keep learning. So yeah, whāia, kia kahara.
Beautiful, bro, and honestly those words have, you know, definitely triggered something within me to be a bit more assertive, to be a bit more confident, because I know, bro, I do have a puna reo at the moment, and I just need to have the confidence and be okay to make those mistakes in particular spaces. So I just want to thank you, bro, for being the example, for being a strong tāne, a strong papa. And also just want to do a big mihi out to Aotea and to your pepe. We didn't even get into any tauira korero, bro. We didn't even get into any tauira korero. You had your first stand there, matatini, bro, on the stage. As soon as I left, me and Ho left, you came in. So you manifested Aotea when you saw her on their matatini stage. But I just wanted to do a big mihi to you, sis, and also to our tauira whānau, and also to Takirua. And that is through te wānanga o Aotearoa, bro?
No, it's its own wānanga,
it's its own wānanga.
Te wānanga takiura o ngā kura kaupapa Māori Aotearoa.
Oh, rawe, and just a big mihi out to that wānanga reo that is just supporting so many people.
Me mihi ka tika.
And to everyone else that has stayed on to this podcast, and follow the bro Montel. I'll put his tag in the description. Reach out to him if there's any part that you feel has landed for you. I just really want to put that challenge, that I guess whittle out to you, to ensure that you just take that step and just let the brother know that he's added value in some way. So ka waihoa ngā kōrero ki reira to my brother. Thank you so much. Aotira kia koutou katoa, ngā mihi kia koutou katoa. Uiha.
Hey.
Mai.
Sure.